Morning, everybody. How you doing?
Real good, Rob.
Very good. So,
Good morning.
today's meeting grew out of my insatiable appetite to figure out why we're not doing more than we can as team leaders. And what kind of occurred to me is I think we've gone through this process of figuring out who can generate the leads, right? Lead generation. The business has gotten very advanced there to the point that there's what 200 million leads sold and there's what 4 million sales. So capturing a lead is not what it used to be. And I know, Chopper, you remember when Remax.com first started kicking out leads through Reliance, and those leads were like rare because there was probably 2 million internet leads and Remax got 500,000 of them. And if you knew how to connect with them, you can convert with lesser of a skill. Okay.
Correct.
Now with 200 million leads coming out, leads costing us a lot more money, that model doesn't work anymore. So we have the leads, then we teach them the systems of contacting them, calling, and following up, and hopefully they get to the appointment. But then the zero moment of truth is really the conversation, right? And how many of us as team leaders feel like if we went on all these appointments that we would have a better outcome?
No doubt.
Right? And you know, Danielle, I'm using my experience with you and the Kazans. Like they're managing that system there, or that those objections were essential to even capturing that business. And I think our team members and the industry in large is deficient. I bet you most of them can't even tell you what they're supposed to say, which is learning the scripts. Okay, forget about being able to understand them enough to explain it to a coworker. And then the next level, beyond teaching would be what I call internalizing it. Okay, where you know it so well that you don't even need to think about how you're going to address a concern or a question. And many of us have gotten here by our experience and the confidence that our experience gives to us. And that's why we're sitting in the chair of a team leader. But our team members really need to be able to master, and they need to be able to stand on their own with these conversations. Otherwise, we're losing out on very valuable opportunities that we're providing for them or that they can be generating on their own. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? No? I mean, Patrick, if everybody, or excuse me, Chopper, if everybody had the confidence that you had, based upon the opportunities you give them, do you think that they would be 10% more or double or triple the amount of business that they're doing? Just a gut.
Probably double, at least.
And I think they would probably feel a lot more comfortable setting the appointments if they knew that they had the skills to, address objections. And that level 3, of putting a framework around it. I put these things together. Learning it forever, where you don't have to think about it, because if you don't have to think about it, it's easier to overcome the objection. If you have to think about it, you've already kind of lost the opportunity. Learning the skills of de-escalating and reframing. Okay, anticipating, internalizing. Like I'm always anticipating an objection. That's why I'm always prepared for it. And if it doesn't come up, I'm not just putting an answer out there just for answer's sake. Okay. But this third piece of our team, I think, is a huge opportunity for us to if nothing else other than today, is just to realize that there's an opportunity there to contribute to our team members and to up their skills. If somebody had a $3 million listing appointment, you know, they might want to bring you out as a team leader. And I think that we need to be able to convey those skills to our team members so that when we're not looking, we know that they have all the right things to say and to convert. And I think that's also hard to measure, other than if you're looking at, you know, appointment conversions when they go out on them. But those conversions could also be in the conversations that lead up to the appointment, right? And their ability to, you know, not answer, you know, what's your commission rate, you know, because those are things that we've been trained not to address for various reasons. You know, hey, Paul, I heard your office is brand new in Newark. You know, we don't want to list with you. Look at, you know, you need to know how to de-escalate that objection and to be able to, you know, redirect it in a proactive way. And then you need to be able to teach your team members to be able to do that, you know? So anyway, those are a couple of things that, you know, I really wanted to kick off today with. And, you know, I will tell you, like I see, you know, Charles Horn on here. Charlie doesn't have a team yet, but Charlie, when you start to think about how would you train a team, you're really going to up your game. If that makes any sense.
100%.
All right. And I don't think the industry spends enough time focusing on, you know, even Zillow, for example. You know, Zillow, they talk about how do you get to the appointment, right? They say, all right, you say, at first we say, when would you like to see the property, right? You set the appointment, then you go meet with them. But I've not heard Carmelo talk to any of our Zillow participants on, you know, well, what do you do at that appointment? I think Zillow presumes that everybody that we put on the campaign knows what they're doing. And I think that's a false presumption. And, you know, role playing, which is something that I have not been, you know, really good at. I guess I haven't, you know, pushed that enough. But I think role playing, it probably has to have a part, or it has to be an integral part in us testing to see how our team members are doing. And it's not because, you know, we're looking for these got you moments. Chopper, I got you. You didn't know what to say. It's because we care. And we want them to be prepared when they're talking to a client with a fiduciary obligation to be the best they can be, that they know what to say, and in order to earn repeat business, right? I mean, it's one thing to close a transaction. It's another thing to have a motivation to say, hey, you know what? And I wish I knew who gave me this quote. But, you know, when they're sitting down at their dining room table and saying, you know, my goal is not to successfully sell your house at a price and terms that are acceptable to you. My goal is to sell your brother's and your neighbor's house. They'd be like, what do you mean by that? Well, I want to do a job that is, I want to exceed your expectations so that you're going to go out of your way to refer me. Right? That's like the next level. And I just wish I knew who had given me that quote, but I thought that was very enlightening in terms of mindset, right? Because isn't a repeat piece of business a hell of a lot more valuable to us and our team members than going out and finding a new piece, right? And in terms of you know, conversations, I think as a team, as a leader or a team leader, we probably need to go through with them all these objections that we're seeing in the marketplace, and walk through not just the words to say, but the reason behind the words to say. And I think that would be the internalizing piece, right? Because if you internalize it, you can come up with like different words to describe the same solution to overcoming a particular challenge. And when you internalize it, you can say, hey, you know, other than listing it for 1%, if I'm hearing you correctly, if I was able to get you a price that was acceptable with terms with price and terms that are acceptable, that nets you an amount equivalent or better than what the 1% lister is, do we understand each other? Right? And, that's kind of, instead of arguing about commission and, my younger self would have said, well, they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that, they're not going to do this. And, when you have that argument, it's hard to prove that they can't do it when they're not there. If that makes any sense. I don't know, Julie, I know you said you had a meeting. Do you have any comments on how you handle that with your team, Julie Vanderblue?
Good morning. Yeah, I love the comment, by the way, the quote that you can't remember who told you, but I mean, the discussion of, I want your brothers and sisters and friends' houses and for you to be motivated. I will use that every single time, but in such, like, the way you presented it in a tactful way. So it doesn't seem like it's all about me. It's all about them.
Yep.
But my goal of earning their trust in business is planted in their brain from the beginning. So they have kind of this, memory of, oh yeah, well, I should refer her. So I just wanted to say I love that. And yeah, I love this. I love what I heard about role playing. And I agree, I don't do as much role playing, and it's not the gotcha, it's not a teaching, just here's what to say. It's until you actually practice your words, the more you say it, the more you're going to be comfortable with it. And as you mentioned, confidence is so important. So,
Julie, maybe in talking to you, just what you're saying there, instead of knowing exactly what to say, you need to know why you're saying what you say, right? Because just saying it doesn't make it true.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you've watched the Simon Sinek Golden Circle video. I talk a lot about that to my team when just in the same exact context, is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So if you're not in there feeling so confident in the words that you're speaking, you don't understand it. And that's why role playing is so important, because you got to practice meaning what you say and not just saying it to get business. And we have accountability partners where they have to practice, they have to give each other presentations and then critique each other. So it's a little less, Mama Bear is watching, it's them practicing, and then they kind of bring it into me or ask me questions. So, practicing on clients and friends and accountability partners is so important when it comes to role playing, I believe. And most people don't do it. They say they will, and then they never do. And I give also my agents, just newer agents, and my seasoned agents, we pull the expireds for them, and we pull kind of the smaller ones to start. And I say, I'm not even expecting you to take out how many you get. What's important to me is how many phone calls you make, because these are the ones to practice on. And this is going to build your confidence in not only making the presentation, but understanding, because, we can go to the list place and everybody makes presentation, but when you first talk to them, that's when they're opening their door. That's when you're starting to make memorable conversation. I agree with you about Zillow. Yes, make the appointment, and they have a strategy there, but if you're not making that appointment and they don't feel you care, then you're just going to be another realtor that opens the door for them. So the conversation starts at the very, very beginning, the follow-up. We use BombBomb. So after I hang up, I will do a BombBomb video saying, hey, great chatting with you. I'm really looking forward to meeting you. From our conversation, here's a couple of other properties that I thought you might be interested while we're out, or whatever it is. But it's the follow-up beyond just that conversation. And then either, if you're new, working with a team lead or seasoned agents to kind of, and with me, I bring, like, my agents don't go out on listing presentations on their own at first. Even if it's their own deal, I go in so that, or a seasoned agent goes in and works with them, but they have their name on everything, and they build their confidence that they have this new client, even though they did nothing really to earn it. They were just there to learn. And that's really kickstarted their confidence, because all of a sudden they feel like they're in it, and confidence is just such an important ingredient in it all. So anyway, I hope that I didn't ramble on too much, but just some thoughts.
Right. And Julie, what I am I'm thinking about it, as I say, I'm thinking about it, I'm going to do it, is I'm gonna do a probably 3 to 4 hour in-person, workshop about the buyer, consultation, the buyer appointment. And, I'm gonna do it in New Jersey and in Florida. And, Justin, I'll zoom in the Virginia Beach team. Because I feel it's so important to, not just hear hyperbole, but to actually have a workshop where you go through the process as if it was real. And there is so much change happening so fast that as soon as we get our arms around it, this could be the best thing ever. Because we're now setting the expectation. There's now 3 contracts that control the transaction instead of 2. There's the listing agent, and the seller bringing the property to market. There's the buyer's agent and the buyer, seeking out the right properties. And then there's the buyer and the seller. And I think if we can articulate that and share that with them, then we can say, hey, I assume that if I can help you find the ideal home with an acceptable price and conditions, that you'd have no objection with working together with me, or some language to that effect, right? Because, those words, I haven't finished my word selection, but it's certainly not the perfect home at the perfect price, because, there's going to be some compromise because of lack of inventory. And, ever since I've been in this business, every buyer feels like they've overpaid. Every seller feels like they've given the house away. So words do matter, right? Because there's never going to be a perfect home. I don't know if anybody has any comments on that one.
Hey, Rob, as you were talking, I kind of came up with a script I'd like to bounce off you. I read something along the lines of, hey, Rob, my goal is to get you the highest price or net to you and your family with the least inconvenience and hassles in the time frame of your choosing. And my vision is to earn and deserve your referrals so I can help your family, friends, neighbors, and colleagues achieve the same results and outcomes for them. And to make you look like a hero among your family, friends, neighbors, and colleagues. If it's okay with you, I'm relationship-based, not transaction-based, and I count on you to have me help you. Something along those lines.
So what my reaction to that, Charles, is that's the reason behind the words that you choose, right? But it's a little bit too transparent as to
Gotcha.
what you know what I mean? Like, that's the reason behind it. But I think if you said, hey, if we were able to get you, full market value by exposing it to the market properly and getting you competitive bids,
Sure.
and you were satisfied with the terms and conditions, could I count on you to refer your friends and family? Maybe something a little bit simpler that way.
Yep.
But I love the essence of it. And you kind of hit on a few things that, I look forward to addressing as far as objections, in a listing opportunity, which is, hey,
Yes.
I don't want to list there because I don't want to give my house away, or I don't, whatever their objection is, right? If you were
Right.
able to reframe it by saying, hey, Charles, if you were to put these in order of priority, selling your house for the absolute highest price, having a completely stress-free transaction, or having it sell quickly, could you put those in order of priority, right? And it's intentionally giving them the ability to have a conversation. And you might think most people are like, I want to sell for the absolute highest price. But some people might be like, you know what, it was so stressful last time. I didn't know if we were closing, I couldn't deal with it. That, somebody might say, having a stress-free transaction is probably most important. Second is money.
Yep.
And then I don't care about the timing. And then
Agreed.
you know how to redirect them. And I think the problem is not most of us on this call here. I think the opportunity is to be able to transfer this. It's like to to do a blood transfusion of,
Yep.
of the way that you communicate to everybody on your team
Correct. Yeah.
so that they
Gotcha.
can behave that way.
And I don't know if I'm still on.
You are.
Okay. And I loved what I'm hearing. And one of the things that I teach my team when they're trying a script, and I hate that word, but I know it's necessary, is, you know, act as if you're talking to me. Act as if you're talking to your sister or your friend, because otherwise it sounds like you're selling yourself. So timing is everything. So when you insert that language of, like, I get to the point in the relationship and I'll bring it in when it's the right timing, because there's timing and tone, which are so important in everything we do. But it'll be more conversational, like, and I haven't even done this one yet because I just learned it from you as far as bringing up the referral before. And I was always kind of intimidated, even after 25 years of asking for the referral, because it made it about me. But this makes it about them. And I can say, listen, my goal when this is all done is for you to be so happy you can't resist to refer me, because obviously my business has grown through referrals. And
Right, but can I even give you a different twist there, Julie? Because you have industry mindset, right? And the twist that I would give that's different is, Julie, you know, if I do such a good job, you know, you're going to want to go out of your way to make sure that your friends and family have access to the same service I gave you, as opposed to saying I build my business on referrals, which is about you.
yeah, no, I love it. I love it. That
Right.
little tiny shift makes all the difference.
Right, because if you care about your neighbor and your brother, right, you're going to want to make sure that they have access to the person that's vetted out by doing a good job for them. And when we say, you know, I build my business on referrals, you're again going back to you.
Yeah, no, so true. And these are conversations I would have, and I would hope my team would even call me out on that as we learn. And the only way to learn, the only way to shift what you're saying is to have other people hear you like you just did. And I'll take that with me. You know, it's just retaining that knowledge that you learn from others, which is why I love these round tables. So thank you so much.
For those of you who don't know, many of you know Julie, but Julie, what did you do in business last year, and you're still trying to learn?
I think we did 220 million.
220 million last year, and you know, you're still of the mindset to learn, which is just amazing. And I think once you stop learning, you stop growing. I think it's inevitable.
Absolutely. And especially in this, like, this is the best market for us that I can remember as far as opportunity with buyers, because if we can educate them that they finally, you know, all buyers have never really thought about representation, most of them. You know, we spend so much time on listing presentations and earning their business that buyers will finally be of the mindset, wow, I have a choice and I should really choose wisely, versus just finding a person to open the door or go into the list agent. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day that I want to chat with you about, Rob, is, you know, the agents that are going to the list agents. And of course we want to get more listings, but there's so much to talk about and learn from each other about.
And I'm gonna put you on the spot with another question, Julie. How many buyers do you work with in a year?
We're about 50-50 listings buyers. So that was about,
how about you personally at your level? Do you work almost only on listings just because of timing?
well, no, not really. Because I feel like if I'm listing someone's house who's buying locally, they're going to want me on both sides of it. And but I always, and I believe in this anyway, especially with seasoned trained, like, I believe you should always have two people on a listing anyway. So for a new agent, they should be on with a seasoned agent, even if they're just giving them a light percentage. And a seasoned agent should bring on a new agent, even if they're just giving a tiny percentage, to give them a learning opportunity. Because then there's two people, each can brag about the other or can bring up the other. There's benefits to doing that. And that way, for me, I'm still working with buyers personally, but I give much more of the percentage up than I used to. And I train my team, and it gets them, it builds their confidence. And now all of a sudden they had a $2 million buyer, and they realized that $2 million buyers put their feet in their pants the same way, and they don't have to be intimidated. So I still work with buyers, but I don't do it alone.
And Julie, you planted a seed in my mind that I not forget when you came down to visit us in Madison, where you said that when you bring on a new agent to help you with the transaction, that they should in fact be paying you for the education, but you give them as a courtesy, a very small referral fee just to provide them some compensation. But that reframed my whole mindset, because it is more work to take somebody inexperienced on. You're probably training them a lot more than they're helping you out. And as an industry, we haven't done a great job of explaining that to them, because they go home and they say, I'm getting, 10% referral for helping Julie close this $2 million deal. And, their cousin from Utah says you're getting screwed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if they say, you know what, I'm getting educated by a $220 million producer, and I don't have to pay for it, and I'm getting a small fee for helping out, that's a different reframe.
Yeah, it really is. And some of the, and it's, I can tell you in advance, the agents that will be most successful are the ones that appreciate that opportunity versus resent it. And the resenters are usually the ones that are what's in it for me attitude, and they're not really a good fit for the team anyway. So it really helps me uncover it. And I usually end up giving, 25%, even up to 50, depending on the work. The first one's usually 10 to 25, but I continue doing it even with agents that are a little bit more, and I up their percentages, accordingly. It also builds their MLS dollars, so they are, just so you guys know, it's a co-broke. My name might be first, but there's a second. So our MLS system will, it'll add up so that when someone pulls their numbers, even though they had nothing to do with it, really, they now have a $2 million deal under their belt, and they can leverage that. The only negative as a team lead is that people will try to recruit them as they see their numbers grow. And, because all of a sudden the recruiters are out there looking, wow, they sold $10 million, but really that was most of my business. So just be prepared for that. But other than that, it's great.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that point up as well. But I think playing defense, if you've done a good job and you're always trying to keep in touch and provide the value, you're less intimidated by people calling.
Exactly. And it doesn't bother me, as it still bothers me a little bit. And I did lose an agent that they did that with. They gave her this huge sign-on bonus. She was doing probably 22 million a year, and she left 2 years ago, and she does about 2 million a year now, since she left. So that's a great example for me to show other people and one agent that left came back. So, it always works out, but you can't live in fear of it. You just have to have a good strategy about how to handle it. And offer, a synergistic environment that they don't want to leave.
And I think that, Julie, when you reframe and redefine the buyer appointment, right, it's those communication skills that are going to help you on your listing opportunities at the same time. I don't think it's possible to improve completely out of balance. Plus, a lot of those clients are going to, have properties to sell and people that they refer to you, right?
Absolutely.
So, you have to have the skill, you have to do the preparation. You can't get to the point where you take for granted the skill set necessary, because with the advent of technology, many of us are having team members sell all over the area. Like people are selling down in, Gloucester County, an hour and a half away, because they have access to the MLS, they have a license, they can do that. But I think you need to, if you're going to go outside of your zone or your specific knowledge area, you need to do the homework, and you need to highlight that when you have your initial appointment, your initial conversation. So these are some thought-provoking things that I thought about. And, you know, Julie, thanks for your contribution. Everybody, thanks for contributing. And I just wanted to say it really is an opportunity. If your team members or your clients look in your eyes and they see fear, you're going to lose. Okay, if they can see the fear or the uncertainty, you know, we're not going to rise to the level that we deserve to be at. And you know, I hate to be cliche, and it's not like I have a choice, but I do think that this is a great opportunity for us to basically retool. It's a tremendous opportunity for team leaders to double down on their value proposition to the team members. Okay, and show them that you're committed to their success, and that we care about them and the clients through them. All right. We're a minute over. I'm gonna drop. I'll see you all next week. Hopefully, everybody in New Jersey, you're going to the Palace rally. Hope to see you there. And we have Mr. Glenn Baker speaking. It's going to be a thrill for your. Is it 10 or 15-minute TED Talk, Glenn?
10 minutes, 5 minutes Q&A.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm gonna extend it another 30 seconds because, you know, Glenn is like the most transparent individual that I've ever dealt with. And, you know, Glenn, the challenges, and I think you really hope that people do it because it will just up your game as well. But most people are going to see it and they're going to what?
Not do anything with it. Like every coffee meeting I have.
Right. Here's the secret to success, right? You put it on a table. You're not giving them any misdirections, right?
I wouldn't. That's not how I operate.
And my guess is you spent probably a couple hours, if not more, this weekend preparing to give people on a platter, you know, how to do business just like you. And you know that most of them are going to look at it as entertainment and say, wow, that was interesting. You know, maybe someday I'll do it, or, but they're never going to do it.
Yeah. Or thinking I'm trying to sell the next shiny thing that they're going to purchase and cancel in 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. Find a new way to get leads that you can't convert.
I love that.
All right. Well, thank you, Glenn.
That's
Thanks
true.
for sharing with the Remax family tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I can't believe it's tomorrow already. And thank you, everybody, for spending your Monday morning here. I hope I make a small, tiny contribution. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Glenn.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you
Talk to you later.
tomorrow, Glenn.
Bye.